Mr. Brill. Alright, so now we're going to be talking about Ricci in China and the equation of the Christian God in Chinese, Tian. Now, I find it very interesting. On page 5, the last paragraph, the quote is, I'm beginning to have great hopes that God will soon provide free entrance to China, not only to our society, but religious of all orders, that a large field may be laid upon pious and holy men of all sorts, and blah, blah, blah. So basically, this is after he's spread through Japan, and he's saying that China has always, pretty much always been a Christian faith, like without really accepting it.
Right.
Yeah. And he thinks he can get that point through fruition that you are Christian, you have faith. We just need to show you the path.
Right. And Richie, the person who said that, died, but that spirit of wanting to continue on, excuse me, the person who said that, Xavier, died, but they definitely, that spirit definitely continued in his successor.
Yep.
Richie. Yep. Right. Which is basically the.
Because the ideas are everything's the same. It's just that the person dies doesn't mean the faith dies at all.
Yes. No. We see that today. The
exactly.
Faith is definitely still here.
Yep.
So, so yeah, and one of the reasons that Ricci was succeeded, much in the same way that Xavier succeeded in spreading Christianity through China, was that he was very well regarded by the Chinese for his mastery of the Chinese language and for his mastery of
Japanese language?
No, Ricci. Ricci, yeah. Ricci was well regarded for his mastery of the Chinese language and of Chinese culture, as we see Emperor Kangxi especially likes that later on. But
it's a sign of respect, really.
Yeah, and also of his scientific pursuits, which were more legitimate than Xavier's, because Xavier's drew his scientific rules from the Bible, while Ricci took his from Roger, and like the Renaissance.
Right. He took ideas from everyone's cultures and infused them into a logical basis.
Yes.
An idea, like it's
And yeah. And you saw that contrary to, or not contrary, but well, I guess it was somewhat contrary, is that you see normally the Christianity is considered kind of a savior religion. In this case, you see Ricci being invited to the imperial court because of these scientific abilities, and then he spreads Christianity to a number of affluent Chinese, Chinese people, such as Li Yingxi, who is a well-known astrologer and feng shui expert. So it says a lot about Ricci that he was able not only to convince those people who were in poor positions, but also those that were fairly well established in the Chinese community.
Right, and I think that just goes back to the idea of, like, if you respect our culture, we'll listen to what you have to say, and we'll believe you if you convince us. But if you could speak Chinese. He knew the culture. He knew what was polite. He knew what was disrespectful, and he knew what to do to get these people to listen to him. So I think that's how he got it into the higher rank of people.
Yes, and he didn't only respect Chinese culture, but he assimilated it into Christian culture, stating that a lot of the Chinese values, such as family and filial piety, were inherent in Christian faith.
Right. So how do you think the idea of a Christian God, how do you think that he got not only the high-ranking people, but any people of the Chinese community at all to believe that their monotheistic God fit into the idea of Tian? The way I see it is he got them to believe, not to believe, but he got them to have faith that the monotheistic God was the ruler of Tian in a way. He was the Tian.
Yes.
Heaven the ideas also kind of line up in that way.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was definitely still like, even with Confucianism, you saw there was like somewhat skepticism.
Right.
The poorer uh, members of Confucian society did believe in spirits and stuff.
Yep.
As you saw, there's a verse in the Analect where it's like the sage believes in little ghosts, I think,
Yep.
and the poor believe in spirits. And um, I think so. The Chinese weren't totally against spirits, which um, and some, in fact, the poorer ones did believe in it particularly. Um, so I think that definitely helped. And what I think Ricci just all that what he did is he pointed to those spirits that the uh, poor people worshipped, and he just kind of he made that person more powerful so as to be the father of all Chinese people, rich or poor.
So he addressed every single social class's beliefs.
He made everyone subordinate to this god,
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
and so and also related to them, the punishments and the prizes of obeying or not obeying this god.
And this isn't only Confucianism at all. I mean, I think it ties into Taoism as well. You know, it's you're part of nature, and I think he said God controls nature, God controls everything. You're still under the control of this God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He connected to all the philosophies in a way that they all got. They all believed. They all had faith after. Yeah.
Yeah, as we see in time and time again, it's a lot easier to go from secular to religious than to go to religious to secular.
Yeah. It's like a hill. I think it's like easy to roll down instead of to climb up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Let's check our time.
Who's your mouse?
Um, yeah, and going and just continuing on that point, the Taoists and the Confucius, they didn't talk about the afterlife.
Right.
So, and there's always people that are worried about what's going to happen to them after they die. So that Christianity had answers to those questions definitely increased its popularity, even among those that are especially affluent.
However, there was skepticism.
Yes, there was
right?
skepticism.
Especially among Taoists. You know what I mean? Like, because why do you think that is? Actually, I'm having a tough time thinking of why the Taoists in particular would have a harder time gaining the ideas of Christ. Do you think it has
Well, if we assume that that being Taoist also was to be an atheist, you could interpret that the Taoists interpreted the Christians as just meddling with this imaginary figure into their lives, right? That simply that they didn't think it was true.
So just pure they just don't believe it.
Yeah, which admittedly is not the most satisfactory answer to that question.
I guess. But yeah,
But why their philosophy would
reject it.
would inhibit that. I don't know. One question that's interesting here is like which of the Chinese philosophies is most repellent to Christianity? What would you say?
I would say Taoist, and I think I have somewhat of an answer is because they believe that the Earth itself is it's in motion. It's you know what I mean. It's a revolving yin yang, and it's they don't want an external figure meddling with the natural way. They reject that idea. They say no, I need the Earth needs to move in its own natural way. We don't want someone controlling everyone, all of nature. We don't believe that. That's not the way it works. I think it goes completely against the idea of yin yang.
We want one big action, not one big person.
Exactly. We want the natural way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're about out of time.